All right, we're back at 3:36 on this Thursday, October the 28th. Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, live with Austin Reed. How you doing? Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Austin Reed on air. Our next guest, a familiar face here on our show. Please welcome in Terri Jay. Terri, welcome back.
It's great to be here again.
Yeah, good to see you. We've been talking the last couple of days about some of the new projects that you have you've been working on very hard.
Yes.
One of them is a new book, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But for our viewers that haven't seen you before, tell them your story.
Well, in 1990, I was doing a horseback therapy program with disabled kids, and I picked a kid up out of his wheelchair and put him on the back of one of the horses. And he said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my hip." So I looked at him, I said, "You have a cramp? Well, here, sit this way, it'll take the cramp out." And he said, "Hey, you can hear me." I said, "Well, of course I can hear you." It didn't dawn on me at the time that he was completely nonverbal.
Wow.
Yeah, so we continued doing our little thing with the horses. And then I took him off the horse and he went back to class. And the gal that was helping me sort of smarted off and said, "Boy, he's sure talking great." And I said, "Well, he's very bright. Just because he has cerebral palsy doesn't mean that he necessarily has an intellectual disability."
Right.
And she looked at me and she said, "Terri, he didn't say a word he can't, remember?" And I joked that I would have done a buck fart snort, because that's what horses do when they're really spooked. And so I went into the classroom and they put a pointer on his head and he had typed out, "Horse lady can hear me."
Unbelievable.
We had carried on this wonderful conversation, and it really didn't have anything to do with horseback riding. He was telling me about the school play and his little girlfriend and all kinds of fun stuff that had really nothing to do with the horseback therapy program. So when I went back outside, I told the gal what happened, and she said, just very matter of fact, "Well, you ought to learn to communicate with the horses because all animals are telepathic." And I thought, wow, that'd be something I'd really like to learn, because it would make the program really safe. I could reassure the horses that they wouldn't spook, they wouldn't jump. We wouldn't have to worry about them as a liability. So there were no books or anything at the time available to learn animal communication. Now it's a freaking cottage industry. But so I tried to find as much as I could on the subject and just started doing a lot of it. And one thing has led to another, and now I know there's no limits to what you can discern when you tune into that energy.
Now, how many books have you released since this happened?
Just the first one was a year and a half ago or 2 years, and that was the Cowgirl Shaman Way.
Okay.
7 easy steps to develop your intuitive ability. I have it. That's this one, and this one teaches you how to do all of the different things that I do. And then this is my new one that I'm so excited about.
Woohoo!
And this one is intuitive communication, communicating with those who cannot. And then I have all the disabilities that make it so that you can't communicate here. And it's so important because we have literally millions of people that are in a coma, persistent vegetative state with severe Alzheimer's, severe dementia. You have nonverbal autistics, people with intellectual disabilities, a lot of nonverbal people out there. And for a lot of them, there is no other way to communicate. They can't use a communication device, or they seem as though they're unaware and unconscious. So I love teaching this so that people can actually do it themselves. That's my greatest joy.
You know, I was reading a little bit of some of the stories, and I love this one. This is the first one. It's right at page 25. You say that you were asked to go to a nearby hospital to communicate with a man who had been declared brain dead. His wife was confused because he seemed to be very aware and present, so she was anxious to find out what I could get when I did the communication. I met his wife at the front door of the hospital and followed her to her husband's room. The head of his bed was propped up a little. His arms were tied down to the side rails, and he was on a ventilator. Tell us more about this story. This is fascinating.
Well, it was really bizarre for me because when I tried to tune in and connect to the person in that physical form, I got nothing. I mean, really, I got nothing. but I could hear him over my right shoulder just cracking jokes. You know, he was hilarious, but he was upset that he was in that condition.
Right.
You know, and it's so interesting because when somebody's deceased, you won't get anything negative from them ever, because nothing negative can go to the other side with them. But with this guy, he was going, oh my goodness, I'm in diapers, I look goofy, pull the plug, you know, all of those things that somebody who had passed wouldn't relate. So, and it was all I could do to not laugh. This is a very serious situation. He was cracking me up. He was so goofy.
I love it. That's just crazy. I love the front of your book as well, intuitive communication. And it's interesting because you've got different parts of the brain light out, you know, whether it's Alzheimer's or kind of go over that.
Well, we just wanted a way to attach all of the disabilities that are caused by brain issues. So they're not specific to a certain part of the brain. I mean, they might be, I don't know, but it's just we wanted to show that these are all disabilities that are caused by a brain issue, a brain function problem, whether it's a neuromuscular disease or a stroke or a traumatic brain injury or, you know, a coma. You know, for all of these, it does impact the brain. All of those problems impact the brain. And so we just wanted to show that all of these disabilities can be reached, that people with these disabilities and problems can be reached. They're all in there. And people wonder, you know, are they in there? How much are they aware of? And so I really break it down easily for people so that I go through all the medical stuff because I think that's important. And I even had a medical editor look at it. But I think, you know, when I'm doing these kinds of readings, I really just try to think and feel for how attached are they to earthly matters. That's what I'm looking for. And the more disconnected they are from earthly matters, then the less they're in their physical body.
For you writing the second book, tell me what it was like.
Oh, God, I couldn't write fast enough. I really couldn't write fast enough. Because in my guides, they told me what books to write and in what order. And I'm already 2/3 of the way through my mediumship book, too. So
wow.
The subtitle's called Cut the Crap because
I like
because
that.
There's so much garbage out there that's just not true. And it hurts people. Oh, it makes me so angry. It hurts people.
Yeah.
You know, when they're told negative things about their loved ones, oh, they're stuck and they haven't crossed over. And, oh, maybe for $5,000, I could try to get them to do the other side for you. And that happens.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness, it still happens.
Oh, my gosh. So
people still fall for it.
For intuitive communication, tell me some of your prime targets of audience. Who should really get this book?
Well, I really wanted to target first responders, medical personnel, and also caregivers, because you have a lot of caregivers. You have family members that are at end stage of life, or they've had some sort of trauma, and they're not communicating. And this can really help them to tune into the person and really, really connect.
So when do you expect to have the mediumship book out?
I'm hoping by the end of the year.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so that's coming up.
I love to write. Oh my goodness. If I didn't do readings all day, I would be writing all day. I really would. Well, I have to go ride my horses sometimes. But
Got to do that. Got to do that.
Got to do that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, people can now get the book. Is it on Amazon or on your website?
It's only on Amazon. My book, my first book, The Cowgirl Shaman Way, that one is available on my website. But I know this book, I'm hoping to make this a 1 million book seller.
Okay.
Because of the need for it. It's desperately needed. And so I thought, I'm not going to do fulfillment on this one.
Right.
So for this one, you have to go to Amazon, but it's on there. You know, and again, it's called Intuitive Communication, Communicating with Those Who Cannot. And so you can find it on Amazon real easily. It's already there. The ebook should be up, I think, by Monday. The ebook should be up.
Perfect, perfect. And then people, of course, can learn more at Terri Jay, Terri with an I, JAY.com. Hope to see you right before the mediumship book is coming out, okay?
I will. I'll call you guys and tell you when it's coming out.
Awesome. All right, Terri. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We're back with one more guest. That's coming up next. Stay with us.